Welcome, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Last we left off, our coterie, Dead Man's Hand, had been doing some connecting with some of the other members of the domain, and they're continuing to do so even tonight, with plans to have meetings and confrontations and other such things with other kindred going on. One of which is Alex was late a little bit for a meeting that Balthasar had requested her presence at. Now, Alex, the meeting place where you are been told to gather is a library. A library in Dallas. A couple hours away from Arlington. So, even just getting here, well, not a couple hours, maybe like half an hour tops. You do know that there's only a couple of hours left in the night, and so to get back to Arlington within a relatively safe window of the dawn, you want to be back by 4:30 at the latest. It's currently about 1:30. So you really don't want to spend a whole lot of time here unless there's some safe place to sleep. But you have been called by your adopted, quote-unquote, sire, the man who's taken you in as you are essentially a Tremere exchange student. Someone to learn in the goings-on of other Tremere across, at least for now, in the city of Dallas, to give you an idea of what Tremere are like in the United States. And so, upon entering this library, normally closed during these hours, but you have been directed to the back entrance and let in through it seems a receiving door where shipments are received, where all of the back offices might be, and sort of the back entrance into this place. Balthasar has been very quiet in leading you inside, and when you find yourself inside of it, it's got the stacks of books. Each stack is probably about as tall as a person. Nothing too hard to get in, too tall out of reach. So the collection is small compared to some of the other libraries you've seen in the world. But he leads you to a very specific door. A door that says staff only on it.
She follows behind him rather quietly. Just observing at this point.
He waits at the door for a moment, kind of leaning up against it. So, how have your studies been going?
Unfortunately, I haven't really had the time. This current position that I've been in has taken up more time than I'm really used to having occupied.
I suppose that's the dream of being a primogen, right?
I guess so.
Always busy, but usually taken up by somebody who has a lot more hands on deck.
is exactly right. Not those who are only just becoming established.
Yeah, well, you're lucky that you're getting in any establishment at all, if I'm completely honest.
You're not wrong.
So, what's been keeping you busy, besides primogen duties?
Honestly, mostly just that.
Hmm.
Getting the domain in order has been a top priority.
It wasn't in order when Brucata left it?
Not to speak ill of the since past, but it seems she was rather poor at her job.
But you discovered that she's gone? Gone?
I believe so. You know, when I asked you
Mm-hmm.
what could hunt a kindred aside other, what could take us down? And you said hunt it.
Hunters of all kinds, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
exactly.
lots of different things that hunt vampires. That the most immediate one being that.
Humans with too much knowledge and no idea what to do with
Oh, every idea what to do with
it, or every idea of what to do with it. Seems that that's been under the nose of the primogen for months.
Hmm. That's a shame.
So we're trying to get on top of it and weed out the problem.
A noble venture.
A necessary one.
You think they threaten the rest of the court?
We don't yet have enough information to say that they do. And at the same time, we don't have enough information to say that they don't.
Then bloods tend to draw the attention of things that shouldn't be drawn attention to.
This is true, and why we're investigating it.
Well, you'll be happy to hear that Malaeus sends his regards. Got a letter.
How's the old codger doing?
An old codger, because his penmanship is perfect and his verbiage is archaic, to say the least.
Well, he's not exactly young anymore.
No. But he does send you his regards.
Well, if you would please send him my regards back when you respond, I would appreciate it.
Well, I think it's about time that you learn how to do so yourself.
Truly.
That's why we're here.
I had wondered.
You had wondered what?
Why we're standing in front of this.
It is one of many. And he opens up the door, and what you see inside is a room very different from the library that you see behind you. It has a very sort of almost gothic feel to it. And when you step inside, and he closes the door, you see that a sort of a sort of wall almost appears right over the door, like that's like it's like the door itself has disappeared.
The tricks of my clan. How wonderful. Can I tell how this is being played out? What spells are at play?
That would be an intelligence occult, and I think it would be a little difficult given your experience. Okay, 5 is good. He didn't say any words. He didn't make any hand gestures to speak of. You get the intention. You get an idea that maybe it's either some kind of magical door itself, or it's a ritual. But the exact nature of it, it's either a cloak or that door is completely vanished. And all you feel when you touch it is a wall.
Perhaps some kind of illusion.
Maybe. It's a very tactile illusion, though. It feels like a wall.
So this is the door that he opened.
Yeah.
Just poof.
Just poofed.
Now that's an interesting trick.
One that I'm sure you'll keep to yourself, right?
That's a given.
You never know.
How'd you do that?
You'll learn in time. But that's a lot more advanced, and I truly don't know all the details myself. But it's handy.
It is.
And not hostile. So
I could think of 1,000,001 uses for this.
I'm sure you can.
One of these days. One of these days.
See, I knew your imagination would start to spark. But we have a letter to write, so come along. He kind of takes you through this chamber, which is a library chamber. There's a lot of books here. You can imagine that there's a lot of things that are both very interesting and very boring at the same time amongst all of these books. And some of the titles you catch offhand are, mundane stories. Other things you see are in a foreign language.
It reminds me Chantry in Brisbane and Chantry in Rockhampton. It reminds me of home. There's something about the smell of thousands of books gathered together in one place. There's a unique smell to paper. It reminds me of all the time that I spent sitting at Malais's desk, flipping through pages, my fingers getting callous. Smell of the pages wearing off onto my hand.
you missed that smell.
I have missed that smell so very much. And the knowledge that comes with it. In every one of these books, there are thoughts and tales and capabilities, things that have come from the minds and imaginations of every single person who has ever written these books. People that have touched the book, who have existed in this space. How many brilliant ideas have flowed through this particular? And that all passes onto her features in the sense of this massive smile and these wide eyes of wonder.
Getting there a little lost there, Jenkins?
I can hardly help it.
You have the same awestruck face that I had when I first walked in here.
I'm not going to lie, it reminds me of home.
Oh, good. It should. As, probably a similar thing happens when you go to the Chantry in Brisbane, right?
Exactly.
Well,
Except for ours, we've got to battle through the sewers and just
ugh.
not as fun.
No, a modest library is a really good front. Gets just enough traffic to be viable, and otherwise, we're left alone here. Don't have to worry about anything. Father Edwards has made it a point that you should at least be seen in the front room, and he kind of gestures to the stacks. You have earned that much, at least.
Only seeing.
Well, keep in mind, most everything here is a copy of something else that's published out in the real world. But yeah, you can see the front room, and this is where you're going to write up a letter, and then I will teach you a little trick on how to send that to Australia.
Well, I'm certainly intrigued.
It's nothing too terribly taxing. It is gonna. You've fed, right?
Recently, yes.
Good. Because you might need to use some of that power of yours.
The cost for everything.
Such is the cost of blood sorcery. Yes. Some around here still call it thaumaturgy.
I think it's a better suiting name. That's just me.
Which one? Thaumaturgy or blood sorcery?
Thaumaturgy.
Well, but call it whatever you like. Well, go on. Find some paper and a pen to write with.
Takes a look around. Are there writing supplies provided somewhere?
There are lots. There's quill and ink if you want it. There's plenty of other ballpoint pens. There's all kinds of different like stationery for paper. So
She gathers up what she needs. And I'm assuming there's a table where she can sit and start to write.
yep, there's tables, there's chairs, there's recliners, there's it looks very comfortable.
Well, when you spend hours doing research and study, you want to do it in relative comfort.
Even if you never get the aches and pains of a sore butt anymore.
This is true. But that doesn't mean we can't still be comfortable while we research. She takes a seat, pulling one outside her and gesturing for Balthazar to come sit.
And he comes and sits with you. Looks like he's taken a something off the shelf himself and is flipped it open to a page and starts to read while you write.
She thinks for a moment, unsure of what to really put into the letter. She starts off politely, formally, addressing Malaeus by his, asking him how he's been and asking about how the city has fared in recent, well, since she's been gone. And she pauses with her pen over the paper. Hesitating on what to tell him next. Since coming into this city, so much has happened in such a short span of time. And she has to consider privacy and propriety of this city's court when passing information to that of another. She lets him know of her coterie, her new position, the rather complex position that she's found herself in as a primogen. She mentions that when she was first put in this position, her first thoughts went straight back to everything that she had learned under Malaya, everything that he had done in front of her. She expresses her now much larger admiration, having seen firsthand and experienced firsthand the difficulties that come along with this position. She'd never quite grasped just how problematic it was. And she thanks him for everything that he had taught her while she was there. She signs it off with her name, her position, and she dates the letter.
All right. He kind of looks over at you, kind of notices that you're finished. All done?
Yes, I think so.
All right. He gets up from his chair, closing the book that uh, he had been reading, and sets it on the table next to him. Gets up and leads you over towards uh, what looks like a mail drop. Something you drop mail letters in.
She folds it up, puts it in an envelope, and addresses it and follows over.
And Balthasar tells you, all right, the next step is a little tricky. He utters something which sounds like gibberish, which you know to just by thinking about it, you know to be an incantation. And with the smear of his thumb, uh, uh, streaks a splotch of blood across the envelope, and tells you to do the same thing.
She imitates as best she can,
So
breaking the skin of her thumb and smearing it across.
I'm going to ask for a rouse check and then a blood sorcery ritual roll.
Rouse?
That's going to be, I believe, intelligence and blood sorcery, or resolve and blood sorcery. I don't remember which. Let me actually look. Yep, intelligence, blood sorcery.
No modifiers?
Nope.
Ew, I would like to willpower that if I can.
You may.
Don't know if I can. Because I think this is like the first time I've actively used my blood sorcery in this campaign. There we go. That's a little better.
All right. You do the same, and you it and then what ends up happening is the the Balthasar tells you to wait and just concentrate for about 10 minutes. And once you've kind of, you know, done so, and you've spent the blood to be able to get this into effect, you see that after that 10 minutes is up, the letter just seems to kind of whoosh and disappear into like a bit of a puff of smoke. There you go.
She frowns a bit as it disappears from her hands. Interesting. And this will, in theory, end up where?
At another mail drop just like this one.
Interesting.
Except in Australia. Which I believe is in their chantry, if I remember correctly.
Possibly, likely close by to Malaeus' office.
Very likely. It's safe to assume. It's addressed to him anyway. Somebody's going to get it to him.
I hope so.
And that, my dear, is how you use Tremere Mail.
Tremere Mail.
Corny, I know. Another strange set of artifacts that we've found over the decades, millennia.
Found.
Found.
So this was not made by our kind, but
The ritual, yes,
something that has been.
but the fact that this box is needed is the essential part.
May I take a closer look at it?
You could try and figure it out if you like.
She just wants to kind of have a look at it and see if there's anything particularly special about this box, any particular markings or anything that stand out, perhaps in another language.
Okay.
Anything that makes it stand out as an artifact of sorts.
Make a resolve and investigation.
I really need to boost my investigation. Okay, go.
Are you spending willpower?
Yeah, I think I will re-roll 2 of those.
Okay. It's slightly different from the ones that you've seen in Australia. It's labeled for the United States Postal Service. It is pretty ordinary looking otherwise. It's made of metal. It is sturdy. Doesn't look like it moves, though. It looks like it is bolted into place. But you don't see anything strange about it.
United States Postal Service. I'm assuming the one in Australia is marked for Australia Post.
Yep. Because you've seen post boxes like this similarly in Australia for the Australian mail.
What a strange box. And it was found, not made. At least not by us.
So far as Balthasar says.
What an incredible piece of technology. A fantastic piece of magic. How much research has been done on this? Do you know, Balthasar?
I can't say exactly for certain, but ever since we found it, we've kind of been tinkering with it.
When was it found? How long ago was it found? Where was it found?
1931 in Massachusetts.
That was quite some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there are these all over the world.
I think so. The only other one I know about is the one Malaya sent his letter from.
This is absolutely fascinating.
I figured you'd get a kick out of that. There's plenty more to learn, obviously, about magic and rituals and thaumaturgy. The things...
I would say that it is as boundless as science.
It does have some limitations. Obviously, anything that's in this space that is of a magical nature, you're not allowed to remove. but figured I'd teach you that one because it's kind of similar
Handy.
to some other rituals that you might want to know. So, what do you
Oh,
want to know?
okay. You mentioned some other rituals that I might want to know. You clearly have something specific in mind.
Well, sorcery is really only limited by your imagination.
Oh, it's such a wide set of choices, Balthazar.
Well, do you want to use. Do you want to. Let's start off with the basics. Warding things. Are you familiar with wards? Protection
You
against
haven't been
this or
into
that.
my you haven't been into my shop, have you?
It's very esoteric.
So you haven't noticed my warding.
No, because I imagine it doesn't affect me.
No, it's wards against ghouls.
Well, I'm not a ghoul. So, no, it went undetected.
But you're a part of my clan, meaning you should also have the time, at least available to you.
That's if I'm concentrating, yes.
And you would enter into a magical space without concentrating.
I dare to say that a lot of the items that you have in your shop are not magical at all. They have no function, really.
This is true.
One could say you're a hack.
Excuse me. I take offense.
Everything that you sell is snake oil.
Not everything.
Prove me wrong.
I'm here, aren't I?
You don't
There's a
sell yourself,
reason.
do you?
Don't make it sound like that.
I said that specifically. Everything that you sell in the store is snake oil.
It's not snake oil.
Prove me wrong.
What we do is a manifestation of will.
Manifestation of the blood, to be specific.
Manifestation of will. If you do not have functional will to achieve what you wish, it doesn't happen.
I suppose.
This, the things that I sell in my shop, are simply focuses for will. Things that you can use to set your intent upon.
I've used herbs and crystals in the past before. They do nothing to help at anything.
Well, for the mortal mind, it helps to focus. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll actually be able to achieve any ends with them, but it does help some.
Using an actual ward sigil is far more effective than using a bottle of herbs.
This is true. Like I said, just because it's more effective does not mean it does not function.
Prove me wrong.
Garlic,
What about it?
holy water, crosses, silver.
None of which you sell, I might add.
I do sell crosses. I do sell garlic as a herb. I do sell silver objects. None of them affect me, of course, but there are some of our kind that they do.
It's like
And
winning
of
the
course, you know
lottery
about
with
the
those things.
manifestation of And of course, we know about the manifestation of faith. All things that function. Who's to say they can't function in other ways? And we just haven't looked deep enough into them. This is where knowledge and research begin.
Fair enough. So,
Not the answer you were expecting.
no, I expected a rather dull answer.
Unfortunate.
So, how do you wish to improve upon these things? How do you wish to grow? Every student is different.
There are many paths.
There are. What are some of the paths that you've heard of?
There are things like warning.
Hmm.
There are things that can be cast on the self. But truthfully, I think I prefer to use my abilities on objects and places.
So you're looking for larger sigils
Of course.
that protect a wider space rather than just a single item.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that I know your aim, that is going to be something that I bring up to Father Edwards. He has not yet approved for you to learn something new, but I think he's on the cusp. Just needs a little persuasion. So, what can I bring him to persuade him? What do you have to offer?
Do I know what he would be interested in at this point?
Well, like most Tremere, they're kind of after what would help the clan the most. But if you are you talking about Balthasar or Father Edwards?
Well, Balthazar is asking what she would offer to Edward.
Exactly.
So that's what she's thinking.
So you're asking what does Alex think that Edwards would want?
Because I'm really not sure. I don't really know enough about him.
Well, let's see how much you know about him. That's an intelligence politics. There's rumors and things like that.
This is definitely more of a shriek kind of thing.
You know he goes by Father Edwards, so maybe there's some kind of faith involved in that.
I've noticed quite a number of kindred in the area are of the Christian denomination.
Makes sense. Pretty heavily influenced by a lot of Catholicism.
Is there a particular reason for that in the area?
You would know that with a lot of a lot of like Hispanic influence that a lot of that kind of stems from a lot of that stems from that, especially like culturally. A lot of it is like Catholicism, surrounding uh, things that are culturally Hispanic. Um, in Dallas, it's a little bit more broad than that, but there is some influence in there. Um, but as far as that goes, but it's kind of a non-specific in the area. Catholicism comes from everywhere, and it's kind of a bit generalized in this metropolitan area.
With the dragon, she offered incense, frankincense, myrrh, and incense. But Edwards is not. He's no dragon.
No.
He's a Tremere. And what Tremere want most is knowledge and secrets. And with him being heavy Catholic or involved in heavy Christian background, there's no doubt that he has likely read the Bible inside and out, knowing damn near every verse and line off by heart. Because that's what the Tremere do. We know things. It's difficult because what could she possibly offer? Kindred of her own clan who has been around for so much longer in terms of knowledge.
Is she asking that out loud, or is she just pondering on her own?
She's pondering. She's thinking. And as she thinks, her brow starts to furrow. She says, I really don't know.
Well, being that he is both Primogen and Regent, something that would benefit the whole clan would be a benefit to all of us. So, I guess I should put it this way. What do you think would help you in your studies?
Access.
Sorry, access?
Access, time. That's what would help me. But that does not help everybody.
I mean, most would say that that is the the underlying cause to their lack of study. Kind of looking for solutions in a way. What kind of solution would you bring to that kind of problem?
Focus. A way to.
Bit of a puzzle, isn't it?
It is. It certainly is.
Maybe something to think about. sleep on
It
it.
is certainly something I will have to.
Well, once you figured out a solution, then then I'll present that to Father Edwards, and we go from there.
Sounds very much like a plan.
In the meantime, you have access to the front room while supervised.
Wonderful. I quickly checked my watch to check how much time do I have before the sun starts to come up.
You've been talking with Balthasar for roughly an hour by now, and so you have maybe an hour to be safe, 2 hours to push it, to do some reading on your own.
She's going to spend the next hour um, looking through, kind of taking stock of what's actually available in this front room,
Kind of
the
just
avenues
perusing.
of knowledge. Yeah, the avenues of knowledge that she's actually got available to her to figure out what she wants to do with this space
Okay.
now that she has access to it.
With the time that you've spent learning about this library, you would mechanically, anytime you're spending time researching something of a mundane nature in this space, you will add a +1 die to your research roll.
Interesting.
So long as you are here in this space. And Balthasar tells you that you only have access if you are supervised for now.
And that is perfectly fair.
It could be
Secrets
any
must,
could be
after all,
any other
remain.
Tremere supervision, but it does have to be supervised.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, I have some stuff to think about now. God damn.
Mm-hmm. That you do. But you spend your hour to determine what this library has in it. Uh, like I said, nothing of a real magical nature aside from the mailbox is present from what you can tell, and and you get that mechanical benefit when you are here, uh, and you can safely return to Arlington with enough time to tuck yourself into bed, maybe even uh, treat yourself to a bit of reading before your the day sleep takes you, if that's what you would like to do.
Yep, she does.
All right. Well, that does it for the lovely Alexandra. Let's move on to what Kane is doing. You were on the lookout for a particularly unfriendly Nosferatu, at least unfriendly to some of your thin blood friends.
Yes. I've got wind that he is causing problems, and well, that's not something that I can allow. Leave something like that to fester, and it's just going to cause nothing but problems and work for us.
You make your way over to where you host a lot of these sort of kindred fights. The pit, that your friends tend to hang around in, and you have seen a couple of individuals sparring here from time to time, but and it looks like when you arrive that Danny and Monty are kind of doing a little bit of that, doing a little bit of sparring, not really hurting each other per se, but are definitely kind of working on form, working on making sure that they can duck out of the way, kind of practicing, practicing some things that would make it less likely for them to get the shit beat out of them. And in the corner is a Nosferatu who isn't doing very much to keep himself obscured, since you've made it abundantly clear that that's not necessarily going to fly. Just kind of watches you as you kind of enter into the warehouse and kind of peruse around, noticing that really it's just them who are here. Ew. Excuse me.
Oh, if it's only the four of us, then I'll call everybody over.
Everybody does come over. Danny and Monty kind of take off the sparring gear that they've also been using because, they don't want to hurt themselves. Fernando's just kind of hunched over with that usual hunched back that he has and kind of got his arms folded a little bit.
I would like to make one note before anything happens. I do have the stakes that I carved out tucked in the back of my waistband. That I got last session.
Right. Last session you haven't had time to carve them. You've had time to break them into appropriate shapes, but not carve them.
Okay, well, they're not fancy then. But I still have enough strength to put a 2x4 through one of their chests, so it doesn't matter.
Because you are a monster.
Yes. I'll get everybody to kind of just hang out. Like if there's a place that we can all sit down and talk, and I'll sit down.
There's places all over the ground. There's corners in things. There's a couple
I'll just
of
toss up buckets and around and everybody sit down.
Yeah, there's plenty of that around to be able to pile up.
Right. It's good that you're all here. I've been hearing things and I don't like it.
What kind of things? Fernando says.
Oh, I hear you've been throwing your weight around and picking on people.
I'm a heavy. It's what I do. Like you, Kane.
Do you think I pick on people?
Not but you throw your weight around.
With people like you. People that need it. People that deserve it.
What did I ever fucking do to you?
Nothing. But I've been hearing you've been picking on those that are weaker than yourself.
Who the fuck told you that?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it does.
Do you think I'm going to tell you?
No.
So have you been picking on the thin bloods and those weaker than yourselves? For what? To make yourself feel better? Do you think you're better than them?
You're the morality police or something?
I'm the one that's in charge of the area. That aside, do you think that I wouldn't be having this conversation? Even if I wasn't? You think I would let something like that slide?
I don't have time for this.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I got better shit to do than to waste my time talking to you.
Did I say you could leave? And I'm gonna stand up.
What, so you can pick on me too?
Is that what you think's going to happen? Are you scared now?
No. Why should I be? You're just a pipsqueak baby who's got a big bite and no bark.
Oh, that's what you think. You do think you're better than them.
I think I'm better than
Though you
you.
were stuck here, at the ends of the earth, because you failed your mission, living here in disgrace. Have to pick on those weaker than yourselves just to, what, be important again?
You don't know fucking shit about me.
I've seen people like you all the time. Human kindred, doesn't matter. Nature of people is all the same. You just get an extra monster thrown in on top of it.
I don't gotta listen to this shit. He starts to turn around and go and walk away.
I didn't say you could leave.
Then fucking make me. He's still walking.
Okay. I will pop Potence and then I will throw his ass into the ring.
Go for it.
Alright, I do not get hungrier.
Ooh.
You will take that. We'll take that. We'll take that. And that'll be our start.
Okay.
And I will willpower that just to make sure that this happens. So that's 5 successes, no crit. Too bad.
And he has 6. So he is you go to lunge for him, and instead of you grabbing at him, instead he sidesteps you and puts you in a hold himself.
Okay.
You don't want to
Looks like
fuck
we're
with
gonna
me.
do this for real.
You really don't want that.
This is your last chance to listen and respect position.
Listen here. Just because you're Primogen doesn't mean shit to me. You might have title, so I gotta play nice. But I ain't gonna let some meathead bash my brains in because he's got some boner for violence.
You think this is just for violence?
Why else? Who's the one picking on the little guy here?
Aren't you supposed to be stronger than me? Are you the little guy?
Man, I got shit to do. He lets you go and just starts walking again.
I'm going to try to throw his ass again.
Alright, go for it.
Alright, let's do this again. I have a hell of a dice pool if it would actually just roll over. That's better.
Oh, that's a 9. Oh, oh, but that's also messy.
And I could still re-roll to try to beat that. I will.
Yep,
You know what?
you've got to beat a 10.
I beat that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe messy crits count in combat scenarios.
They still count as crits.
Yep, but they don't incur any kind of compulsion.
No, I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, no, I'm just double checking. I don't know why my brain was fuzzy on that, and I had to end up asking at that point.
Yep. He can reroll if he wants to. He kind of doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He kind of wants you to prove your own point. So he's actually going to take it. He's going to take that fall.
All right.
So he allows you to throw him into the pit. Danny and Monty are just kind of looking at each other. Fernando kind of eyeing them at the moment. Then looks back at you. Proving my point right there.
You need to be taught a lesson.
For doing what exactly?
You think you're better than the rest of them, picking on them.
Who
You're in the same boat
told
they
you
are.
that?
It doesn't matter.
Then
Are you
you're
denying it?
then you're going off of some kind of bullshit. Because I didn't do anything.
This was verified information, correct? That was given to me.
I don't remember who told you.
This was something that Derek got off of a crit that you came up with on the spot.
Okay. So it's based off of what Shriek said. You haven't really done anything to try and catch him in a lie.
Can I insight check him?
Sure. What's an
Yeah, I'll
insight?
insight check him. Three dice.
He's riled up, that's for sure. He's upset that you're kind of just marching in here and sort of playing the big guy on campus. He doesn't like that you can. He doesn't like that you can swing him around. It certainly gets under his skin a little bit, even if he's letting you prove his own point. You get the distinct feeling that maybe he's not the one that you should be directing your attention to, but how Danny and Monty are reacting. And when you look at them, they're just kind of stood back in awe, in fear.
I'm standing. I figure at this point I'm standing on the edge of it. So how about it? Does he come after you too? Any of your friends?
They just kind of look back and forth like they don't want to say anything.
You don't have to worry about retaliation. All I want's the truth.
Now, what do you fucking do? Says Fernando. What's the truth gonna get you? A mean right hook.
I just wanted to talk to the three of you. You're the one that had to show your ass and try to leave before this was solved.
There's nothing to solve.
If you're fucking around like that, yes, there is. How about it, Monty? And whatever the hell the other guy's name is, I forget all the time.
Danny.
I only remember Danny. Fucking poor Danny. I always forget his name.
He's the one who talks to you all the time.
Yeah, he's the one that I fucking remember the guy that doesn't say a goddamn thing. Danny, Monty. Let me know what's going on.
They still kind of hesitate. And when everyone's kind of got their attention turned away, you realize that Fernando's gone.
And he's guessing he went invisible. Can I try to find him? Pick on up? Or
You can wildly swing to try and find him, but it's going to be a very high difficulty. Because I don't think you have a power to see through Obfuscate.
no, I do not.
So you're just wildly swinging.
No, I would probably just pick up a bucket and chuck it at one of the doors or something. And hope they hit him on the way out.
It seems to tumble on the way out. He's nowhere else in sight, from what you can tell.
I'll deal with him later. I want to walk over to Danny and Monty.
They
Tell me
just
the truth.
kind of look like they don't. They look like they're backing away from you a little bit. Look, man,
Have I ever done it?
we don't want any trouble.
Have I ever done anything to you guys to think that I would hurt you? Have I not always had your back?
You say that, and then you throw Fernando across the room, Monty says.
He wanted to leave. We need to figure this out. I didn't hurt him. I threw him into the pit just so we could talk. If I wanted to hurt him, I would have went all out. I don't fight fair when it comes to like that. If I wanted to hurt him, he wouldn't be around.
Look,
What we do in this place is different. And anybody that's a part of that should know the difference between that. You don't just use this shit on those weaker than yourselves because you can. That's one of the first things you learn if you become a fighter. Any kind of sportsman. You don't take martial arts, you don't take all that shit to pick on people.
I mean, Danny kind of speaks up for a minute. It's not like he's calling us names or anything like that. He's just always itching for a fight, and you know, nobody usually else is here, and so we fight him, and he doesn't even need to use powers to knock the shit out of us. Like, he's strong in general.
Yeah. Some of us, that kind of gets tuned up when we've been changed. So he's not just doing it just to be a dick. These are matches that I've been hearing about.
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. I really don't know what to say, because, it's shitty, yeah, but, we're thin bloods. I mean, what else are we good for, right? That's what the camp thinks of us. It's what everyone thinks of us.
Not me.
You say that.
Have I ever proven you otherwise?
It's only a matter of time, Kane. Before we're just another tool in the toolbox.
Where I come from, the people that you're around, your crew, your team, whatever part of it, you watch each other's backs because that's all you can do. You throw this mess into it, coteries, whatever you have it. It's all about who you know and who you can trust. I'd like to think that I've developed a rapport with you guys. That there's some level of trust there.
I'm not going to lie to you, Kane. You scare me.
You are not stupid for saying that.
And so, knowing how real kindred get when they're mad, just avoid that shit.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make you mad. I don't want to make Fernando mad. Monty doesn't want to make y'all mad. We're just trying not to get offed.
I'm trying to make that as easy as possible.
Oh, we don't count as kindred. According to your Camarilla law, we don't count. So he can kill us anytime he wants.
That's where you're wrong.
Nothing's stopping him.
Domain. We set the rules.
No. That's where I think you're wrong, mate. The prince sets the rules.
He has his decrees. But he doesn't do the day-to-day shit that we have to take care of. Why do you think I got Gerard to put the word out with you and all your friends? If anything happens, if you guys need anything, if anybody's fucking with you, to come get us. Come get me. Other people in my coterie, they might not do the same thing the ways I do. I'm trying to make things better here for everybody.
Is that because you used to run with a gang?
I've been parts of things like that growing up for most of my life. You watch out for those people.
Or those people will shoot you in the back.
Trust is a double-edged sword. You can get cut real easy. Well, you don't just lay your hands on it whenever. I don't put that out there for just anybody.
Look, I appreciate it, man, but I don't think we're gonna come back here.
I'm sorry if I scared you off like that. Honestly, if I'm the problem, then I'll take myself out of that. I just want you guys to have a place where you can let off steam. Don't have any lasting feuds built up. Place that you can settle the bullshit. And not have these grudges that'll last 1,000 years until you off each other.
I think I'd have better luck in Elysium if I ever went.
What was that, sorry?
He said, I think I'd have better luck in Elysium if I ever went.
Look. I'm new at all this. I've only ever been good at fucking like 2 or 3 things. And most of that is 2 out of 3 aren't very nice. But I'll tell you what, if you guys are that scared of me, and don't, to the point where you don't want to deal with me anymore and don't want to come around here, then I'll leave this place in your guys' hands.
Well, what are you gonna do if you want to go kick Fernando's ass again?
I don't want to kick his ass. I didn't want to stop him. I just wanted to get to the bottom of it if he was picking on everyone. We can't have that. That shit'll fester. That'll cause bad blood. It'll cause problems. Bring a lot of attention that none of us want from a lot of people that pretty much don't really give a shit about anybody here.
Welcome to the shit stain. It's kind of our lot in life.
Yeah.
Or unlife.
Well, like I said, I was only trying to help.
I get it. You know, because
I'm not some big talker. That's the only way I know how to get down to things is put the people in a room and make sure nobody leaves till shit gets solved.
doesn't exactly go over well with people who don't want to stay. He kind of chuckles a little nervously.
You know, it sucks that you're scared of me like this now. I don't like that.
Look, man, you're big. You're kind of intimidating anyway. The fact that you can throw a Nosferatu across the room, that's saying something, man.
Yeah, but the ability to do something and how you carry yourself is 2 different things. I didn't know I gave you guys a reason to be scared of me. I thought you knew me better than that, but I guess actions speak louder than words.
Most of the words coming out of kindred mouths is a fucking lie, so what else can you trust?
I don't know. I've always been shit at lying. I guess the reason I've always gotten good at punching things. I can't talk my way out of shit, so it's always been coming down to a fight.
Well, for what it's worth, it's easier to talk to you than it is to him.
I'll stay away for a while. Maybe someday I'll be welcome back here if you guys aren't that scared. You can let me know. You guys keep this running. if you need people to help you out, get some of the regulars that you trust to back you up. I'll leave you guys in charge.
You kind of remind me a little bit of Gerard. Scary, but I don't know.
Maybe that's
Not
why
at the
that's
same
why.
time.
Oh, think of it like a big dog. Yes, they could tear a hole in your ass, but it can also be your best friend. Just because something can do something doesn't mean it will.
Yeah.
Our bark is, our bite is just a hell of a lot more dangerous than our bark.
Funny how he said the same thing about you.
Well, I'm serious about if anybody's giving problems or if anything needs to happen. If you notice shit going down, people aren't happy, people need things, they can either get in touch with people at my gym or that magic shop that's over on such and such street.
Magic shop.
Yeah, one of our coterie members owns the shop. It's a good place to get a touch. We usually meet there. Sometimes me, I can't exactly hold a phone.
You mean like
Beeper.
tarot cards and Ouija boards and shit?
Yeah, I think they have some of that shit. They have a hell of a lot of good books. I've been learning all kinds of weird shit from there.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah. I don't understand the whole religious aspect of it. I never really have, but most of the people that come in and out seem nice enough. Even though some of them smell like patchouli.
We'll be around if you need to find us for some reason.
Yeah. And Kane's going, like, he's dropped all of his powers and, like, has his hands in his pocket. He's actually going to hold out a hand to both of them. Don't be a stranger, and if you need shit.
Monty will actually be the first one to shake your hand. And then Danny.
Just remember, even though I can be scary, sometimes it's good to know someone like that, especially if they like you and are on your side. Not many other people would stand up for you guys.
Yeah, we're hardly worth it.
Says you.
Well, you seem to think there's something there, and well, there's not many of us left, so
Most people don't really know what to think of people that are quote unquote useless or down and out. Even the most useless guy in a gang still serves a purpose.
yeah, cannon fodder.
No, not. If that's all the people think about it, then they're not worth the fucking people that they lead.
Well, take care of yourself or something.
Yeah. Take care of this place. And Kane will walk out and leave.
All right.
Might head to, I think, how much time is left in the night?
There's a little bit of time left.
he might head to his sire's.
Okay. What kind of place do you imagine that your sire hangs out in?
He owns a string of funeral homes
Ah,
around the area.
I see, I see. Well, that is where you will indeed find your magnificent sire, Mr. Isaac Blackwood. He seems to be in on one of his funeral homes, the uh, one of the usual places that he's bound to be found. Uh, as far as meeting up with him and things of that sort, and
Yeah.
uh,
He has like a main office that he goes to, or at least what his main place that has his secret office in the back of it that only he knows how to get into.
mm-hmm. He's kind of in one of the main areas, kind of in the main sort of storage uh, storage places for bodies. And when you enter and you kind of walk into this sort of storage space, you do see that he is having a conversation with someone that you know as well.
Okay.
Quietly, they're kind of away from the doorway as you're walking up, and immediately hush as soon as they see that you have walked into the door. Ah,
Kane
Kane.
would just nod and. Oh, I'm sorry, am I interrupting? I was going to make myself scarce while you guys had business.
No.
Who was it there that I noticed, or did I know who they are?
Oh, I thought you were watching on the Roll20. Father McCree.
Oh, it hasn't
Oh, it
changed
hasn't
hands for
updated.
me.
Oh, oh, that's dumb because it has for me.
Let me refresh.
But yes,
Maybe it's on my end.
it's your sire Isaac Blackwood, and then Father McCree is also here.
Oh yeah, it was mine just being stupid. Ah, gentlemen, I can make myself scarce if you have business.
No, no. The father says I was just leaving.
As you wish.
It's a pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Blackwood. And they shake hands and part ways. Father McCree exiting this sort of body storage space and giving you and your sire the freedom to talk.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. How have you been?
Oh, things have been trying as of late.
When are they not?
Things were a lot more simple when I was just watching your back and making sure no problems happened around any of our assets.
Yeah, even simpler before then, too, I'm sure.
Trying to fill out this new position and all the things that come with it. Skills that I've never honed.
Something I never actually saw that I never would have predicted, but certainly an interesting turn of events. Well, you came for a reason, I imagine.
Oh, I wanted to catch up and see how things were going on this front. And touch base and perhaps get some grounding.
As you can see, I am making friends. He kind of smiles, kind of looking back at the doorway as that Father McCree had left out of.
Ah, yes, the father. He I've never really... I've dealt with him a few times, but not on the best of terms.
Yeah, it's expected. Old Ventrue like that are not exactly friends with the La Sombra.
He also didn't like that we've helped raise up a few fighters out of some of the less fortunate people that he has dealt with.
Well, seems to be a him problem than it is an our problem.
Yeah.
He
I think a man of God would just like to call it God's will and have someone in a better place.
If you think he's an actual man of God, then you are naive.
No, I was being a smartass.
Being facetious.
Yes.
Can never tell with you sometimes.
Well, I've always had a hell of a poker face. When you're in the ring against across from someone, if you let too much get out, they can get the upper hand just by a look.
Strange how that is indeed a transferable skill. Transferable skill that will help you go far in the court.
Besides, you know me, I can't lie for shit, so keeping my mouth shut and stone-faced is about the best defense I have.
That will only carry you so far.
This is true. But then again,
you can always trust a kindred to lie.
This is true. And
especially a Ventrue.
I don't think you picked me because I was a social butterfly.
Why do you think I picked you, Kane?
Well, there's two lines of thinking. One is I was what you needed, or two, you saw something that you liked. And those are the only things that make sense to me. You can do things that I can't even fathom. I've seen you work, talk. You accomplish things that just with a conversation that would take me an all-out war to do. And I don't know.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I believe that's how the expression goes. Anyone could be a meathead. But not every meathead gets embraced. You, specifically, have a determination that doesn't waver. And I like that about you. It's what I liked about my sire and my grandsire before him. And what they liked about me. They crafted that determination to be what it is today. And you are no different from that, in that respect.
It is true.
That despite the odds being stacked more and more in favor of you giving up, putting an end to it all. You somehow muscled through, and I think that's somewhat what the Camarilla needs these nights. Men who will not give up at the first sign of trouble.
You can't ever do with, or how does that saying go? You have to deal with the cards you're dealt. And not every hand's a winner, but you just gotta do what you can. I've always been a survivor. I've never really been one to roll over.
Never one to take a fall, even when one was presented to you as a very tempting offer.
If you start compromising like that, the foundations of what you believe in, who you are as a person, all that shit crumbles and you're not worth fucking anything.
I tend to agree. But the battlefield isn't always won in fists.
No, that's one of the reasons I wanted to come and talk to you.
Sometimes the battlefield is the rumor mill. What people say about you, what people think about you, and what you want them to say and think about you. So, what have you done in that particular battlefield?
Well, I think there's a good deal of people that are scared of me.
As they should
Deal
be.
of people that are wary of me.
As they should be. You command a lot of physical strength.
I've never wanted that to be all that I command, though.
Then what do you want?
I always wanted to be better, to be more. I learn what I can.
That isn't exactly precise. What exactly do you want? Do you want to be better at the game? Do you want to be better at socializing? Do you want to be better at commanding the kind around you? I can't help you if it's not precise. We're often described as the sledgehammers of the kindred world.
With the way that I am, I could see that. But you've always been a little more subtle. I'd like to do what you do better. I'm good at reading people, but I don't know how to talk to them. And with some of our other gifts, those I'd like to learn more about as well.
You've been hesitant about touching the Oblivion.
I didn't think, you think me worthy of teaching yet. I was
Some
trying
people
to
are
figure out a way to,
natural to it, others are not. So it really just depends on your inclination. The more you reach out to the darkness, the more it will eat away at your soul. If you value your soul, then it is not a path I recommend. But if you want to be that sort of sledgehammer, then so be it.
with all the things I've seen and done, I'm damned regardless, I think, so.
Damned we may be, but there's no sense in rushing to that end.
No. I'm in no rush.
Should it
I
develop?
know we... Oh, sorry.
Should it develop more than it already has? If at all, in you. What can you do with the powers of the dark?
I found I have an ability to make things disappear.
Turn to dust.
Yes.
Hmm.
They, happened by accident the first time.
Then you are indeed a child of my own blood. As he kind of points to the storage facility. It makes for an effective way to get rid of unwanted bodies.
Yes.
It could also be used and manipulated to bend to your will. Should you want it to.
I would be interested in learning.
Paired with the strength of a La Sombra. It makes for very deadly weapons.
Yes.
Is that the path you want? To be a deadly weapon to both kind and kindred?
It's not the only thing I want, but I think that is what I'm cut out for. I don't mind being a deadly weapon. I've always been a tool to a lot of things. But if I can make that my own, get the respect and prestige that comes along with it, I might be able to make my way in this world.
Then I don't know that there's more that you can learn from me. As I am also one of those tools. Let it develop on its own. See what happens. Practice your socializing. And perhaps learn from those others who might be of more social caliber than yourself. Do what you can to observe them. I wish that you had been able to stay by my side a lot longer than you had, but we must do as the prince commands, of course.
Yeah, I definitely wish that we had a little bit more time for me to learn things before getting thrown into that old mess. Never being to court once, and let alone the first time being put in front of the prince. It was an amusing thing to deal with.
Amusing, maybe, but also an honor. You should count yourself lucky.
I don't know why he picked us. Probably just an easy thing to stopgap measure that will, honestly, in the long run, if something goes terribly south, we're easy cannon fodder to throw at the problem till they can figure out something more. It's
Probably.
easy to explain away a couple of fledglings that cocked up the job and had to be dealt with than to deal with another elder of some kind.
Brucato was not an elder.
Well, elder to me. It's,
I think she
I
would barely
forget
even.
these terms.
She would barely
I
even
forget
be
these.
considered ancilla.
I forget these terms have meaning. That's still yet some of the things I need to learn. I just meant old enough to matter.
The prince is the one old enough to matter. Perhaps Seneschal Fitzgerald and a few of the others are that old. But, Brucato, no, she was barely an ancilla.
Yeah.
Incompetent, if you ask me.
I would tend to agree with the state that the domain was left in.
Well, you can't expect much more from a caitiff, now can you?
Oh.
Not exactly an individual with a clan that has prestige or anything.
Pedigrees and bloodlines aside, it just shows a lack of character and determination.
Well, perhaps she lacked in that as well. Aside from everything else.
With how she's seen, or I've seen things being ran, I'd put more stock in some of the thin bloods that I've met. They at least have.
That's laughable. That's hilarious.
Yeah, not many people like them.
Their existence speaks of doom. Can't imagine that the elders are all that happy that any of them are left.
Oh yes, I forgot that whole thing. There's so much another history. I barely know about the human. You know how shitty the schools have become. Let alone trying to learn a new history. One that's been secret.
Well, that has to deal with some kind of prophecy that some believe, others do not. That the end is nigh when the blood is thin. And thus, thin bloods are becoming more and more populous as time goes on, especially in anarch circles where they breed like rabbits.
One must have their cannon fodder for their wars.
Even the Sabbat have uses for their thin bloods.
That's one thing I learned. At least growing up in the kind of lifestyle I did. Even the worst, stupidest, most incompetent member of a gang still can serve a purpose.
distraction.
You don't trust them with the important shit, but there's still things you can get them to do.
Usually have wills that are pliable to any demand.
Let's face it, back then, someone had to go on the beer run. Certainly it's not going to be the higher-ups.
Ah, well.
It was good talking to you, though.
I'm glad. Because it's not often that well, it's not often that you and I mingle anymore, and that is unfortunate.
I will make an effort to try to stop by more regularly.
Your duties tie you up, I understand.
Yes. But respect for one's maker, that's something that I don't intend to take lightly.
Well, keep me informed as to your state of existence from time to time.
Yes. And as always, if you ever need me, I'll be there when I can. About the only thing that can keep me from that is something that I've been decreed, that is my problem.
No. You've always been a good boy. He kind of gives you a bit of a cheeky grin.
Anyways.
The
You have a
morning does
wonderful
come
night.
very soon, so you should get home.
Yes, I was just about to say that. You have a good night.
And you as well.
And Kane will shake his hand and head back out and go back to his safe house.
All right. With that being said, I think we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see what Anna and Shriek have gotten themselves into. So, be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Alex had gone to see her mentor amongst the Tremere and learned of a very special mailbox in the front room of what may be the Chantry. of Dallas. The wonderful Lasombra Kane dealt with a pesky Nosferatu who had been picking on some thin bloods and went to go see his sire about, well, what else is going on in this particular world and what else he can learn. And we also have Anna, who's also doing a lot of perusing around when it comes to meeting with certain individuals. Just kind of going this way and that way throughout the domain and running into whomever she might think would make an interesting ally. And so one of which she's contacted is a woman who simply goes by Madame. An acquaintance of Danny and Monty and of Gerard, and, well, someone that Anna wants to get to know. And so she's instructed Madame to meet her in a sort of open space, kind of like a park, except it's not closed off like a park might be at this time of night. A set of benches, maybe, in a spot at the end of a cul-de-sac. Open enough that anybody passing by would just see some conversing individuals, but private enough that conversation wouldn't necessarily be overheard. And so Anna, you're first to arrive at the spot you designated, waiting for the red-headed woman to arrive to the space. You have an oddity going on with you, though. It seems that the last drink that you had from a human was hopped up on painkillers. And thus you feel a little bit sluggish, but otherwise you're fine.
Before Madame arrives, perhaps when she does, she would see that Anna is staring straight up into the sky, just watching the stars. The way that she sees them is they have this halo around them. And somehow, they're more beautiful than usual.
The few you do see, as the light pollution tends to block most of them out, except the most powerful.
Even the moon. Even the moon has a halo. Anna hears Madame's footsteps and finally turns her attention to her. Oh, perfect, you're here.
Hello.
Good evening. Please do have a seat with me. It's, really appreciate you meeting me tonight.
Well, you insisted, so here I am. And she goes to sit down on the other side of the bench with you.
Madame, how often do you look at the sky now?
She kind of looks up as if, reactively to the sky, and just kind of shrugs and looks back at you. Not very often.
Not very often. It's unfortunate.
I mean,
No,
what is there to see? There's not very many stars when you're in the city.
That's true. inversion tends to make it difficult. But if you look hard enough, sometimes you can still see them twinkling. And the moon always looks bigger, rounder, reflected. Might be in the city, but you can still see beautiful things. Sorry. I'm a little odd right now. I don't mean to be.
That's fine.
How have you been?
I'm alright. I've just been existing.
Just existing. Yeah. Me too. I feel like the last time we met and spoke, it was a little bit disorienting to hear me in just such shock. I feel like we live very different conditions, but
As we do.
both of us are cursed. At least that's what they say.
Is this an attempt at empathy?
Anna raises an eyebrow at her. I take it it's not really something you get often. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to patronize you or anything.
It's unusual, to be certain, but... And I've come to expect that many are not empathetic. In my experience, if I wanted empathy, I would go and see one of my human clients.
Yeah, they tend to hold on to it better.
Usually when someone calls me out, it's because there's a job to do. And, well, certain jobs require certain individuals, and, well, I suppose you know something about me in order to call me out here because you need something from me, so I suppose I'm expecting the job to drop.
That's it's very astute. To be
I've
perfectly
been at
honest,
this a very long time, my dear. Longer than you've existed.
I guess that makes it pretty clear about where I'm at on all of this.
I have been doing the jobs of kindred for 60 years.
Wow.
If that puts it into perspective.
It really does. You've been around so much, too. I'm
A lot
gonna
of
be
things
honest.
in a lot of places.
What is it that you do, madame? What do people call you for?
Recently, Mostly the coaxing of kind. Mostly information gathering of the social nature of the secrets spilled during moments of passion sort of jobs.
I see. Finding out how to get something from someone.
One could call it espionage. Others call it information gathering with benefits. For whom, that remains to be seen.
One up from friends, then, I'm guessing.
Not even friends, barely even acquaintances, most times.
I'll keep that in mind.
I tend to be one to draw out another's vices, make them succumb to them, and, well, weasel information out of them that they wouldn't otherwise talk about. In polite company. Senators, politicians of all kinds, influencers, you name it. I've done it all.
It's a prized talent and skill.
Little more than a whore.
I used to watch a show. It's called Firefly, and they had this, well, woman of the ship. It was sci-fi, up in space. They had this woman of the ship who did much of the same thing, espionage, and was able to facilitate sanction through travel, and just worked in making sure that information and network was all settled. And it was quite the topic, quite the debate in that show, that they were seen as whores, as you put it. But the service and matter that they provided was essential. It's what they did was the tool for the job. It feels silly to really try and dumb that down. Construction worker also uses a tool for the job. In both instances, you both are using bodies.
Perhaps.
It's a valuable skill. I think one that seems you're called for often and simultaneously overlooked on.
Not so much anymore. And it's rare that I'm even called at all. These nights.
Well, funny enough, rather than asking you to get information, I actually want to share some.
And what do you want in return? Information is not cheap, my dear, I know this.
I'll let you know what I'm wanting later. for now, I think I made a good decision. Because now I know who I'm talking to.
And yet I've barely said a thing about myself.
But you're the most veteran in what I need to know, and what I need done.
Right tool for the right job, I suppose.
There are concerns. Black vans have been seen all throughout the domain, and
yes, I'm aware of them.
we think that maybe it might be Second Inquisition.
I can almost guarantee it. I've seen them before.
I'm trying to figure out what it is that they're looking for.
You. And me.
Of course.
And everyone else we're associated with. And their families. And their friends. And anything else you might care about. Professional relationships, all of it. That's what they want. They want you. A kindred. Perhaps even more than that. They want to destroy us. And I say us because the Thin Bloods are included. They want nothing more than to stamp out our existence. Because we are a threat to humanity. These are the same black vans that destroyed Detroit. My home.
Coffee, have I been informed about Detroit? Even in passing? Has anyone mentioned it?
Let's see what that roll would be. I want to say that vague stories and rumors have been passing around, but nothing of any kind of specific nature.
Yeah, I know Alex has mentioned that other cities have been hit.
Yeah, other cities have been hit for sure. That's been kind of rumored around. Yeah, I'm gonna call that since that's rumor based, I'm gonna call that an intelligence streetwise.
Okay. I have no dots in Streetwise. This is all intelligence, baby.
Yeah, baby.
One.
You know what Alex has said. Other cities have been destroyed by the Second Inquisition.
Great. Fantastic. I'm sorry to hear that. And for all intents and purposes, I think it's a fair statement that I don't want to see the same happen here.
Neither do I.
I've been thinking, this is the tricky part. You think there's a leak.
A leak.
And we have ideas of a culprit. Whether that person knows that they are a leak or not is a different subject. As it stands, we need to see who it is. And from there, I want to do everything I can to make sure that we can all just stay quiet. The worst thing that is on my mind right now is that it would have to come down to any sort of destruction.
It's the only way to be sure.
Maybe it doesn't have to be.
Do you truly believe that? That destruction could be avoided for the culprit who might be the one who unwittingly may be leading them right to us?
I think I've seen what kindred are capable of. All kindred. And I think, more than anything, there are other methods. It's just not the cheapest one. But I'm not an elder. I don't want to go for some cheap, quick answer. I want to know what's preventable in the long term.
You may have already found your unwitting link. I don't know what I could have done to draw their attention, but they could have followed me.
I see. And in that case, Madame, I know it seems really cheap to say this, and I'm sure you've probably heard it before and have been let down, but I want to help protect you.
I don't know that you can. Because I've been running from this ever since I have jumped from city to city to city. Found myself here. Then found myself in San Antonio, and now I'm back here. It seems to follow me. I don't know if that's me being paranoid or if I'm truly the one they're seeking. Or if I just happen to be a coincidence. But something I'm doing is not working. Which means I either have to be destroyed or I have to leave. Again. It's the only way you can be sure.
Then this is our secret.
And at this point, I think I'd rather be destroyed. If I'm completely honest.
We might be blood-sucking monsters and leeches, but we don't have to act like it. We do not have to rule like it. Maybe in time, eventually, as we get older, that is the case. But I think as long as I'm going to be Primogen, for whatever meaning that title holds, I want to treat you humanely. And I want to treat you as a person.
That's sweet. But the person I was died 60 years ago. I was less than a person for 55 of those years. Or so. I forget how long exactly now.
But you still want to tell me you seek empathy. Even from humans. Monsters don't want empathy.
Maybe I'm trying to hang on to something that doesn't exist anymore.
Maybe I am too. Let's figure something out together, Madame. If you could trust me. And I know that's a big ask.
It's a big ask when I know what your clan is capable of. Flights of fancy, whimsy, emotional overload, psychotic break, and then the flip of a switch, you're fine.
And also oracles and seers. And the few kindred who've always find precisely what they're looking for.
Heralded as madmen and women. But I do have a soft spot for Malkavians.
Nana smiles softly at her. I'll count my blessings on that. I think we should figure out how we can make a trap. If they are seeking you, then there might be a way that we can track where their base is, their operations, who they report to. If you're willing to meet with me again tomorrow night, somewhere private, we can figure something out.
All right. All else fails. Well, at least it's not your head.
If all else fails, the Second Inquisition has us both.
I
I
don't
put
think
my
you
head
would.
on the...
You would put your head on that guillotine.
Madame, me wanting to work with you now, to some eyes, already is.
Your funeral, I suppose. She gives you a bit of a joking smile.
I hope you have a eulogy prepared.
I'd be right there beside you. 'Cause if you go, I'm done.
And I'll find someone who will have a eulogy for us. Maybe Shriek. Actually, no, not Shriek. Not Shriek. Then I will sit there with Madame for a little bit.
She'll indulge
Still what?
in the sort of quiet, just sitting.
Okay. Oh. A place that we can meet. And Anna will... is there a location that Anna knows about that she can meet with the Madame in a fairly private area?
Yeah, there's plenty of places that would be relatively private for what you're looking for, and there's not any one specific place, but there's a number of them that you could think of based on the
You know what?
geography of your domain.
I have an idea. And this is just to put a little cherry on the top for Shriek. It's gonna be at my haven.
Okay. Your own haven
Madam.
it is?
Why not? Let's get some eyes on it.
Hey.
So, Anna will give her that location.
Okay.
And with that, agreeing to meet up tomorrow.
As the
To watch
daylight
the
will
moon.
be arriving soon.
Yep. Anna will go ahead, bid Madame farewell.
Especially since you're walking.
Yeah.
Heading back now is safe.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah. Probably just return to either her own haven or somewhere decent to sleep. Before, like, as she's walking back, there is one thing that she will do. Just really quick. Sense the unseen as she's walking back, sauntering back and forth.
Okay. Make me a sense the unseen roll.
Let's see. I don't see shit.
Yeah, you're fairly certain that you're okay.
I really need to up my awareness.
But there you have it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's really all I have for the nights.
All right. And then we have Shriek. you are out and about as well. And you had mentioned that you were going to pay a visit to a certain nun to check in with her, see what may going on. Is there anything in particular you wanted to say to her before that she should know, or something that you want in particular?
Fact of the matter is I just need to end up making the time to end up, well, making sure that we're able to end up being all nice and cozy with each other.
Mm.
If it's not too much trouble, I'd like to be able to end up just assessing a certain problem in our domain. Namely, when it ends up coming down to these little black vans that keep showing up, pain in the ass as they are. It does end up making me wonder, though. Who is the mole? That little twit that decided that they're going to end up spilling the beans on what's going on here in Arlington. Our little slice of heaven. It's just aggravating to end up thinking about.
That it is. That it is
So,
indeed.
obviously, the first thing is that the nun we need to end up checking. Zamisi, history of having some problems with the Camarilla as a whole. The Scourge wants them removed. So plenty of bones to pick there. That's not who I'm betting on. Still, wouldn't shock me. I'm just trying to end up setting up a certain meeting, little ways away from Haven, a little bit later on. A discussion about her future. Given the fact I need to end up going out late, and me showing up without a rival, this ends up giving them a perfect little opportunity to be able to, well, see on who's on the level, or at least give them an opportunity. The goal here is to end up trying to end up finding a place where we are isolated and seemingly easy to pick off. Given the fact we have Primogen, makes us a perfect little bit of bait when the traitor decides to end up taking it. We will be observing, trying to end up seeing if there are black vans that show up. Maybe we'll show up, maybe we won't. Things happen to happen. So busy being Primogen. But it does end up giving us an opportunity to see who it is that's on the level. Trying to worm this out gets a little tricky after a bit, but right now we need to end up building some level of trust. I'm sure that the others are doing the same. After all, it's a brilliant plan by Kane. Don't let him know I said that.
Well, Sister Charity does let you know that she hasn't seen any black vans her way, but being the little church in the middle of the sort of outskirts of the domain, in a sense, kind of affords her some degree of privacy away from the big city sort of buzz. She hasn't really seen anyone of any kind of nefarious nature like that, so she's happy that that's not come her way. She hasn't heard from the Scourge since the last that you all met together, so there's that as well. The hubbub of wanting her destroyed may have taken a back burner or something. That's what she suspects.
Well, given that I just stuck my neck out for her, yeah, I think it's the least that can be done. Then again, if she's willing to end up betraying the Camarilla, her promises are basically worthless. So let's go on the presumption that she is, and, well, be helpfully proven wrong. Until then, well, we're going to have to end up taking a little bit. I'm going to end up explaining to Sister Charity quickly, though, that I have to go, so I would appreciate a chance to meet up tomorrow night, say at around 3. I give her a particular location that I figure is out of the way, place where there wouldn't be a lot of witnesses, place where I'll be out in the open. If they're nervous, they think I'm probably going to dispose of them. No witnesses, after all. On the other hand, if they show up, well, then it's all good. Either way, if I suddenly end up seeing a bunch of black vans or any kind of surveillance equipment, or worse, individuals who seem geared to take out Kindred, well, then I know exactly where the hell this leak came from. Helps narrow it down.
She will meet you in that specified place tomorrow.
Fantastic. Which leaves just one last thing on the agenda before I end up going to my day sleep. This one, I'm not sure. There's a part of me that relishes it. Mostly in everything going wrong in an explosive fashion, but not quite. But then again, that also means picking at old wounds. Then again, Jade is not exactly... Well, let's just say me suddenly showing up inside of her haven is not exactly something that is unheard of, shall we politely say.
Exactly. So is that the intention? You want to slip into her home without her knowing?
That's the intention. I don't want her to get too comfortable, and me knocking on the door just really isn't my style.
All right.
Besides, I want her to know that I can get in at any time.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check then. Dexterity and stealth.
Break-in specialty works here, right?
It would indeed, because you're breaking into her home.
3's nice.
3 is nice. She may have changed the lock since you last were here, but that doesn't bother you any. This one's just a different key, same kind of lock. You jimmy it open.
Just a quick rake and a poke.
Yep.
Reminds me of my boyfriend.
Easy to get the lock to pry open. The door opens very quietly. You slip yourself in, and to your knowledge, no one is the wiser. It seems she's out right now. Maybe in a hunt.
Maybe. I do some digging around while she's out and about. You know, seeing how things are. Particularly paying attention to any correspondence between her and Big T, but other than that, I'm looking for any evidence of sedition.
Sedition?
Unless something else happens to come of interest. After all, I'm incredibly nosy.
You wonder if she's a traitor to the Camarilla.
Well, like sire, like childer.
Okay. If she was hiding something, it'd be pretty dumb to leave it out in the open. So let's see what some snooping around will get you. Wits and investigation, since you're doing this rather quickly.
Okay. 2. Nothing huge. But...
No. A lot of mundane stuff. Bills. Nothing of a particularly notorious nature. And you find a lot of what you've already seen before. So, nothing particularly, nothing real written per se to indicate progress through the case either. So, maybe it's slow going.
Maybe I'm looking for bugs and all that kind of stuff too. Like, let's be real here. It's Shriek. He'll dig into just about anything. But that being said, once he feels that, well, this is getting boring,
Yeah.
probably does his due diligence to help tidy up.
And just as you're doing so, she starts to put her keys into the lock to unlock it, and swings the door open, and sets a purse on the counter, and her keys, and just starts walking into the house, and turns on the lights and things like that. Are you obfuscated?
No, not particularly.
Oh God.
Oh, good. Honey, you're home. Just ended up finishing up the dishes.
The fuck are you doing here?
Need to have a quick sit down and chat. Don't have a whole lot of time and really don't want to end up wasting yours, so figure we end up ripping this band-aid off.
Oh, jeez. What now?
Well, he gestures to the couch in the living room, sparse as it may be.
She goes to the couch and sits down, kind of looking a little exasperated.
Yeah, I have that effect on people. But, lean back, relax for a moment. Worn in, nice. So, let me get to a few things. Little Birdie has told me you kind of hit a windfall recently. Now, who is this benefactor? I gotta wonder.
Why are you snooping around in my business?
I snoop around in everybody's business. Pay it as a compliment. Hell, they didn't always... Go ahead.
I didn't always think that you had an interest in my well-being.
I don't. I do, however, have an interest in this little position that I happen to stumble into. And the problems that happen to come there make situations that happen to show up here. And so, my job is to end up making sure as many people are in the clear. And of course, when, well, I won't speak ill of the dead, but suffice it to say, reputation forces me to end up lifting some obvious stones, right?
I'm not sure I understand.
First off, who's your benefactor, Jade?
I don't know. They didn't say.
I'll have to look into that. When I find out, well, we'll have to find out what's going on.
Well, what do you mean by benefactor? It's not like anyone has any interest in anything. I just somehow this lawyer somehow found out that I might lose my house, and stepped in to fight on my behalf against the bank.
Well, that's got to free up some time.
Happy?
No, not particularly. Right now, That's got to put a little bit of a weight off your mind, and unfortunately, that ends up probably freeing up some of your time. So I wanted to end up discussing on how best to use that. An opportunity happened to end up coming along. And quite frankly, when it ends up coming down to it, at the behest of Anna, I had to end up saying, no, this is a terrible idea. But they insisted. I'm trying to do right by my coterie. So I said I'll deliver the news just because I'm pretty sure he's telling me this to piss me off. But word has it that a blood bank has kind of gone poof lately.
I did hear about that on the news, yes.
Right. Now, what do you know about blood banks?
Nothing.
Good. You're going to want to learn.
Why?
Because, well, you're a venturer. You understand this thing we call supply demand. Kind of go hand in hand, right?
Sure.
That blood bank was an asset in this domain.
Okay.
Some incompetent nincompoop ended up deciding to end up making the whole place go off in smoke. Probably smoking some hubris or something like that. Don't ask me how I know, but I know.
I don't see how that's my problem.
It's not your problem. It's your opportunity.
And this is out of respect for Anna.
This is because Anna said that you'd probably be the best fit for the job, and I ended up saying I think I'm a little hesitant to end up putting you anywhere near a resource that is involved with this little organization. She fought on your behalf, and quite frankly, if I ended up deciding to slug her one like I was tempted to do, I'd probably have Kane on my ass, choking me out, not in any of the fun ways either. What is about everybody wanting to wring my neck? Is it just that cute?
No, it's just that ringable.
It is a good fit.
So with it having burnt down, you find this to be an opportunity that I could capitalize on because I'm a venture.
That's exactly it. Besides, you want to keep this place. Somebody wants you to keep this place other than you. God knows why. And right now, our little place has a resource problem. Second, right? It going down as quickly as it has suddenly ended up making a few people nervous. Understand, no more blood donors means that those people who are currently here used to doing so aren't doing so, which means it's a little less blood coming in. It also means that all those people who like to order takeout, yeah, they're not getting their fix. And I think you and me can agree that a hungry predator might not be the best idea to end up having walking the streets.
No.
Causes more problems, especially involving black vans, as we earlier discussed.
Yes. Yes, we did.
So
you want me to what?
Sort it out. I want you figuring out how to warm yourself in, get yourself in a position where you can end up maintaining operations, and I want to end up knowing what's going on. I'm more interested in you here being able to see if any Second Inquisition come poking around, but Anna seems to end up thinking you're going to be in the clear for that.
As in poking around me.
Well, you're going to be near a blood bank, Second Inquisition, looking for vampires, honey. Somebody's holding the dinner plate. They're looking at the waiter. So you're going to want to be careful on that.
I am careful.
Well, Anna seems to think so. I'm not so sure.
Of course you don't.
So, do you want the job, or do I end up handing this off to somebody who's more competent?
Do you really have to add insult to injury?
Every time, sweetheart.
The only two people who know about my house are me and you.
I'm not asking anything about your house. I don't give a shit. For all I care, you can take a flamethrower to it. But, right now, the place needs blood. We had a resource to help bolster our defenses against the Second Inquisition. That is now compromised.
I'm better
And
in
I
my
think
neck than yours.
Well, to be fair, it's more Anna's neck. Her idea, she vouched, falls on her head.
Fine, whatever.
So is that a yes, so I can end up skedaddling here and pretend that I wasn't making homemaker in your house not more than 5 minutes ago?
Why were you doing that? You know, cleaning the dishes. I caught you in the middle of it. Don't try and deny it.
Well, mostly because I didn't have enough time to end up finding an apron. Otherwise, you would have just found me in that.
Ew.
Oh, come on. My butt's cute. Even if it is dead.
Got a caterpillar crawling out your ear.
Oh. Hey, Gummy. Get back up.
Ugh.
Alright. That beside the point. Are you in? Can you make it work?
I can make it work.
What do you need? I'm not asking out of your benefit. I'm asking this to end up making sure that things go smoothly because, quite frankly, as funny as it would be to end up seeing the Malkavian suddenly being here, shoved into court, having to explain all this, my neck's also on that line. So consider me being your buddy in the noose.
As far as that goes, the money thing isn't an issue. I probably should read up on my medical.
Fight for the best.
Anything to do with the medical practice of phlebotomy would be appreciated.
I actually know of a doctor.
A doctor.
Now, you might want to be careful around him. Don't go poking too hard. He's got an eye for things that he shouldn't. But he's involved in trade nevertheless. Might be of interest to you. Used to end up running the place before it burnt down.
Oh.
That might be a useful connection for somebody like you.
Okay. Do you happen to have the name of this doctor? Because I do not.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that is Dr. Olson, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Now, as far as how you got the information on this is to be kept down low. And I really would appreciate it if you don't tell people that I'm the one who's giving you information. Because I have a reputation to maintain, and quite frankly, it sickens me that I gotta tell you anything.
Because, of course, can't ruin Shriek's reputation.
Of course not. I might accidentally get one.
Funny.
That's my line.
Funny, given that you're the one ruining reputations left and right.
I only go with what I'm given. And so I am making the best of a bad situation. You want to make the best of a bad situation. And since you suddenly end up coming into a windfall, well, best you put that time to use. So, any other questions from the class? Raise your hand.
Did you have anything to do with that?
Do with what? Trying to end up putting you in a job that ends up suddenly end up giving you a chance for some kind of windfall? You think I want you here. I don't want you comfortable. I don't want anything really to do with you for the most part. But this situation keeps creeping up, and the Second Inquisition's putting pressure on us all. Fact of the matter is that as much as I am loath to admit it, right now you are still recognized Camarilla. And so I abide. What we got going on between you and me, that's personal business. And I figured a venture above all else would end up appreciating separating business from personal. And what you and me have is very personal.
Get out of my house.
And I stand up. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 a.m. And I give her an address. Attendance mandatory.
Of course, Primogen.
Love the ring on that. I close the door. And I start walking out, getting ready to end up heading back. Why was I washing the dishes? Probably just bored, but why do that? Should have smashed something up. Maybe write something creepy on the mirror, something to freak her out. Lay in her bed or something. Oh. Why the dishes? That's bugging me. And not like Billy in my ear right now, that goddamn maggot. Why?
Is it because, Shriek, you feel sorry for her? Even the slightest bit? Or is it guilt for what you did?
I'll never tell.
Well, with the night coming to an end for these four kindred, the daylight rising, each of them in a safe place to sleep. Day sleep comes as the rest of the world of Arlington goes about their day, going to their jobs in Dallas or Fort Worth or anywhere else. And these monsters lie awake with their thoughts, their bodies unmoving as the day goes on. And I think that is where we're going to put a stop for tonight's session. And we'll come back on a new night where these kindred will meet their various meetings once more. Thank you guys so much for playing.
That was a fucking
Thank
good
you.
session.
Yeah, it was. A lot of individual stories tonight, but it was good.
I spent a
Yay.
lot of time in that last scene dying and Alex.
I would time some of those lines specifically for when you were eating. I watched you.
I was sadly not watching the webcams. I was staring right at tokens because I'm a.
Oh my
And that's how I get in the character. I stare at the token.
fucking dying.
Well,
But
I'm
yes.
saying, 8-ball corner pocket.
That was a good play though. Holy fuck.
Shriek is.
The Machiavellian is coming out.
It is. It is.
Shriek is still intelligence 4.
He is
Like-
smart.
And like,
He's the kind of
a lot of-
smart that I wish the mouse was when I had an intelligence 4.
but yeah, you guys gave me all these pieces to work with. I'm like, okay.
That's I suppose the plan is everybody hands Shriek all of the pieces to the puzzle, and he puts it together like it's nothing.
Basically what Alex has been doing, like she knows she's not good at playing the game, but she can use others to play the game. That's a thing.
So long as she can ride their tailcoats or coattails.
That's what Kane's doing. He's literally just feeding Shriek anything he can and waiting until something needs to be broken.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, I don't think anybody's broken any convictions or tenants, so I think we can pass up on stains. What about some willpower? Who did what they wanted to today?
No.
Oh,
I'm trying to. Let me see. Yes, I did. No, but find the leak.
yeah,
I mean,
I'll give that
also,
to you.
though, I kind of did take a step towards the ambition.
Oh.
Gather lost from your knowledge.
You did have your first steps into the chantry.
Yeah.
That's a
And I mean, that
step in the right
post-box,
direction.
that post-box was so cool.
I just kind of made it up.
Like, obsessed with that little artifact. That's so cool.
Tremere mail, and I'm over here wondering what happens when you put a body in it.
Not
Who
gonna
knows?
lie, I did have that intrusive thought, but
Who
Schrodinger's
knows?
postal service.
Yep.
evisceration.
No, we got to try to send the live cat to see what happens first.
Oh god. I think the layers.
Your mail could either be
Yeah.
live or dead when you receive it.
I
It's
really
both
don't
at the same
think-
time.
I just really don't think Malaeus would appreciate getting a dead body in his postbox.
I don't know. I don't know that he would.
I mean, he might use its iron tongue for a ritual, but
Meh.
You know, we say he probably would not appreciate it, but something tells me it's already happened.
oh, probably several times, and he's probably just like, why?
Yep.
Why
Yep.
is this?
It's like
Love it.
mass
it.
mail has to be sent out.
Americans. Fucking Americans. Like,
Right. He sends a cease and desist letter.
I can see it.
It would be funny. Yep. Well, we've got the poll open for those who want to noodle around with the experience that we give the audience to give to our cast members. But first, we have some experience to give to them as storyteller and other players. So I give you all one for showing up today. You're welcome. That is my prize to you.
Okay.
The others are, of course, voted upon by you, the cast members, for plot mover, best scene, and best lines. So who moved our plot?
I'm gonna say freak.
Yeah.
just in that last little scene, there was so much shit that Shriek moved around just by using one Ventru.
It was pretty
And
good.
And if it's not Shriek, it's Anna.
Am I allowed to be greedy and vote for myself in this situation?
Of course, that's the whole point.
Cool.
I do that
I'll
a
be
lot
greedy
as
then.
Summer. Let's be real.
I'm voting for Derek, I think.
Okay, it's 2 for Derek. We got 1 for Anna. What you think, Derek? You're kind of the deciding factor whether it goes to a coin toss or whether it goes to you.
Take
You know
it, you
what?
son of a bitch. I don't want to do high or low.
I'm gonna make it a high or low.
You son of a bitch.
We don't get these, Derek.
We're going to Anna. And just to make it worse, I'm gonna let Specs make the call.
Fuck.
I love you, you sick son of a bitch.
Pressure.
All right, well, I'm gonna fuck myself over with this one. Coffee, High Clan High.
Wah, wah, wah.
I should always vote for my clan. I don't know why I do this.
Because you're a venture at heart, that's what it is.
Yeah, not even a venture. It's more like venture love.
Yeah. Yeah, hello. Well, whap whap. Nobody gets our plot mover. Oh well. Well, who had the best scene then?
Giving it to Kane.
It was a good one.
Specifically for him interacting with the sire.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I want to give it.
Myself.
Alex
Joyce
wants
was
to give it
pretty good.
yourself. Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
great insight for Alex. But I very much did enjoy the scene with Kane, but a different scene, specifically making an enemy out of fucking Fernando.
Yeah,
One.
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And two, goes up to the Thin Bloods and says, "I'm not a bad guy." And they're just like, huh, okay, Captain. Whatever you say.
He tries so hard. Kane tries so hard.
The road
I
to hell
got
is
it.
paved with good intentions.
He
It really
tries so
is.
hard
It
to
really
be
is.
and not to be the sledgehammer.
Gotta pick one someday, buddy.
Yep. And Kane, you also get the audience experience, so to go ahead and mark that down. But
Thank you.
we had, was it 2 votes for Kane?
I'll vote for myself. Why not? I'm not above that.
Okay.
3 votes for Kane.
3 votes for Kane. You have an honorable mention, Derek?
No, I was the first one to vote for Kane.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then, who didn't vote?
I voted for me.
Oh, you voted for you. Yeah, honorable mention, we get Alex. Man, I'm so dumb. I forget things that happened 5 seconds ago. Let's be real.
Mhm.
Best line.
Sorry, I'm a little odd right now from Anna. Or monsters don't want empathy from Anna. I liked those 2 lines.
I'm going to throw one of mine in just because I liked it. It was the whole thing when he asked, his sire asked him, "So do you want to be the well-honed weapon?" And he's like, "I already am that. If I can get the prestige and everything to go along with it, maybe I can actually make my way through this life."
It's a good one.
I don't remember exactly how I said it, but it was I remember liking that.
I'll find someone to speak our eulogy. Maybe Shriek. No, not
Shriek.
Shriek.
Yeah, I'll give it to the not Shriek line. I'm not.
Yeah, that has it.
Yeah, that's 3 votes for Anna. 4 votes for Anna then.
Yeehaw!
Anna, you
I
get our
might
best
throw
line?
my favorite of my lines in, but let's be honest, we know that line went.
Well, that's all the experience doled out. You're welcome, kindred
Thank you.
of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So how'd
Not
y'all
good
enjoy the
on that
session?
scene.
It was good.
Good, good.
I feel like today's session was really, really cool. A lot of
Yeah.
really cool conversations and like personal character arcs being progressed in a
Yep.
really interesting way.
Yep. That's kind of what today's session was an individualized kind of one by one down the line sort of a character progression when it comes to what they're doing in the city as far as their plot to thwart the Second Inquisition, which who knows, they may be successful. We'll find out. We'll have to find out as they do more. But with that being said, that means that we are finished with everything here at CoffeeCat Presents. If you are following on YouTube, you should follow on Twitch. And if you're following on Twitch, you should follow on YouTube because, well, that's where you can find all of the VODs for this chronicle and previous chronicles that we have done. Apparently the bot is dead. I think I had that. I think Derek, you had that problem earlier too, where it might have switched off. But yes, youtube.com/@CoffeeCat Presents. If you don't have that URL subscribed already, and if you are finding us here on YouTube, then you should follow us on Twitch at CoffeeCat Presents. So, well, let's go find somebody to raid, and we will be back with more Blood and Iron next week, Wednesday. It is spooky month, so we've got some cool things going on, especially Derek, because he's got some special pricing going on for spooky month with horror themed drawings. So you guys should commission him. But let's find somebody to raid, and we will be back again next week. So say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
The moon looks so big.
It can't be that scary. My favorite color's pink.
I really want to play with that post more.
Good night, everybody.